I was running late for my morning coffee when I saw him. My nephew Marcus, slumped on a bench at Gate 47 of Portland International Airport, his backpack clutched against his chest like a life preserver. At 7 in the morning. On a Tuesday. I almost didn't recognize him. The last time I'd seen Marcus was at Christmas dinner 2 years ago, back when he still had that teacher's posture, that easy smile. This man looked hollow. His jacket was wrinkled, his jeans stained. He had the unmistakable look of someone who'd been sleeping in public places. "Marcus?" I touched his shoulder gently. "Sweetheart, what are you doing here?" He jerked awake, eyes wild for a moment before focusing on me. Then his face crumpled. "Aunt Victoria." "Oh, God." His voice cracked. I didn't know where else to go. I sat down next to him, setting my briefcase aside. "Where's Vanessa? Where are the boys?" "They're at the Fairmont." He laughed, but it was a broken sound. "Penthouse suite. Vanessa's shooting content for her followers." Something cold settled in my stomach. "And you're sleeping at the airport." "I'm not allowed back to the apartment." He said it so quietly I almost didn't hear him. "She changed the locks 3 days ago." I took his hand. It was shaking. "Start from the beginning. Tell me everything." The story came out in pieces, like he was ashamed of every word. 8 months ago, Vanessa had met someone at a yoga retreat. A woman named Celeste Morgan who called herself a success architect. Within weeks, Vanessa was convinced that Celeste could make her an influencer, that she was destined for greatness, that Marcus's teaching salary was poverty consciousness holding them back. "She wanted me to quit my job," Marcus said, staring at his hands. Said the school environment was toxic, that I was absorbing negative energy from the system. She had all these articles about teachers burning out, about how the profession was dying. I loved teaching Aunt Vic, but she cried every night. Said I was choosing strangers' kids over our family's future. So he quit, resigned from Lincoln High School where he'd taught history for 7 years. They moved from Seattle to Portland because Celeste's academy was there. Vanessa said they needed to be in the energy field of success. "I thought I was supporting her dreams," he whispered. "I thought that's what good husbands do." The apartment they rented was in Vanessa's name only. She said it was better for her brand to have everything under her business identity. Marcus paid the rent in cash. No paper trail. No proof he'd ever lived there. Then came the investments. Celeste's Luxury Life Academy cost $18,000 for the platinum tier. Vanessa needed a new camera setup, professional lighting, a wardrobe that reflected abundance. Marcus withdrew his entire teacher pension early. $47,000, gone in 3 months. "She said it was an investment in our future," Marcus said, "that we'd make it back 100-fold, that I just needed to trust the process." When the money ran out, Vanessa started pulling from their savings. Another $35,000. She took out credit cards in Marcus's name, maxed them out buying courses, coaching sessions, a trip to Bali for a manifestation retreat. "I asked her to slow down," Marcus said, his voice barely audible. "Just to take a breath, maybe she could get a part-time job while building the brand. She said I was being unsupportive, that I was the reason she wasn't succeeding, that my negative energy was blocking her abundance." The tears were running down his face now. I put my arm around his shoulders and let him cry. "The boys," he finally continued, "that's the worst part. She started recording them for content. A day in the life of a manifestation family, making them say affirmations on camera. When I said maybe they were too young for that, maybe we should let them just be kids, she told me I was crushing their potential. 2 weeks ago, Marcus found a part-time job at Home Depot, just to have some income coming in. Vanessa was furious. Said he was vibrating at retail frequency and it was contaminating their home. She made him quit after 5 days. Then the eviction. Vanessa told him she needed space to align with her highest self, that his presence was creating resistance in her manifesting. She'd already paid the next 3 months of rent, she said. She and the boys would stay in the apartment. Marcus could find somewhere temporary. "I thought it was just for a few days," he said. "I stayed with a buddy from my old teaching days, but then Vanessa stopped answering my calls. When I went to the apartment, the locks were changed. The doorman had instructions not to let me up. And the boys?" His face twisted. "She won't let me see them. Says they need protected energy space right now. When I finally got her on the phone yesterday, She said the boys told her they don't want to see me, that I'm too negative, that I make them feel bad. Marcus, they're 7 years old. They don't talk like that. I know. His voice broke again. But what can I do? I don't have money for a lawyer. I don't have anywhere to live. I left my phone at the apartment when she locked me out. I've been using the airport Wi-Fi to check email on my old tablet. I didn't want to call you because I'm so ashamed. I'm 42 years old and I'm homeless because I let my wife destroy my life. I held him while he sobbed. And while I held him, something crystallized inside me, that cold, sharp feeling I get when I know exactly what needs to be done. I've been a family law attorney for 30 years. I've seen every variation of financial abuse, manipulation, and parental alienation. But this was my nephew, my sweet, brilliant nephew who used to bring his history students to my office to learn about the legal system. Marcus, I said firmly, you're not homeless anymore. You're coming home with me, right now. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm telling. We're going to my house. You're going to take a hot shower and sleep in a real bed, and then we're going to fix this. All of it. Aunt Vic, you don't understand. Vanessa has Celeste coaching her. They have lawyers. They have money. I have nothing. I smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Sweetheart, I am a lawyer, and unlike whatever discount charlatan Vanessa hired, I don't lose. We stopped at Target on the way home so Marcus could get clean clothes and basic toiletries. He kept trying to refuse, saying he couldn't take my money. I finally had to tell him to shut up and pick out some jeans. When we got to my house in Lake Oswego, I made him shower while I fixed breakfast. Real food, eggs, toast, bacon. He looked like he'd been living on airport vending machine food for days. Over breakfast, I started taking notes. I need details, bank account numbers, property information, everything you can remember. Why? Because before we do anything else, I need to see exactly what we're dealing with. Financial abuse leaves a trail, Marcus. Always. People like Vanessa think they're clever, but they're not. They're just cruel. I spent the rest of Tuesday making calls. By Wednesday morning, I had my first breakthrough. My colleague, Sarah Chen, specializes in financial forensics for divorce cases. She owed me a favor from a case I'd helped her with last year. The apartment lease, Sarah said when she called me back. It's in Vanessa Parker's name only. Has been since they moved in 8 months ago. Marcus isn't listed as a tenant, isn't on the utility bills, nothing. As far as the landlord knows, he never lived there. But he paid the rent. In cash. No receipts. No paper trail. What about the bank accounts? Sarah hesitated. That's where it gets interesting. Their joint checking account was closed 4 months ago. Vanessa opened a new account in her name only, but I found the old statements. Marcus's teacher pension withdrawal, $47,000, went into the joint account. Then a series of withdrawals to something called Luxury Life Academy LLC. $18,000 in one transfer. Can you trace that? Already did. Luxury Life Academy is registered to Celeste Morgan. She's got quite a history. 3 lawsuits in California for fraud. Another 2 in Washington. She runs these high-ticket coaching programs targeting women in their 30s. Promises to make them influencers. Charges tens of thousands. Delivers nothing but manipulation and debt. My jaw clenched. Keep digging. There's more. The credit cards Marcus mentioned? 5 of them. Total balance $83,000. All opened in the last 6 months. All in Marcus's name. But I checked the IP addresses for the applications. They were all submitted from the same computer at the Luxury Life Academy office. So Vanessa committed identity theft and fraud. Marcus's signature was forged on 3 of the applications. I compared it to his signature from his teaching contract. Not even close. By Thursday, I had enough information to make me physically sick. But I kept digging. I hired a private investigator named Jake Morrison. Jake's specialty is social media investigation. If there was dirt on Vanessa's influencer life, he'd find it. Jake called me Friday afternoon. You need to see this. I met him at a coffee shop downtown. He brought his laptop and opened it to Vanessa's Instagram. She had 43,000 followers. Her feed was a glossy parade of luxury. Designer handbags, the penthouse suite at the Fairmont, professional photos of her with the boys, both of them in matching designer outfits. Look at the dates, Jake said. The photos of the boys had been posted throughout the week, the same week Marcus was sleeping at the airport. In one photo, Vanessa was holding them close, both boys smiling at the camera. The caption read, "My beautiful babies. Motherhood is my greatest blessing, teaching them to manifest their highest potential every single day. She's using them for content," I said quietly. "It gets worse." Jake clicked to another tab. Videos. Vanessa had posted 3 in the last week. In each one, the boys were reciting affirmations. "I am abundant. I attract success. I deserve luxury." Their voices were monotone. Their eyes looked tired. But the last video made my blood freeze. It was just Vanessa, sitting in what looked like a meditation room. She was crying, beautiful tears that didn't disturb her makeup. "I want to be vulnerable with you all today," she said to the camera. "My husband left us, just walked away from his family because he couldn't handle my success. It's been so hard on the boys. They ask about their father every day. I tell them he loves them. But sometimes adults make choices that hurt the people around them. We're healing. We're manifesting peace. And we're learning that sometimes love means letting go of people who no longer serve our highest good." "She's telling people Marcus abandoned them," Jake said. "Look at the comments. Hundreds of comments. Thousands. 'You're so strong. What a deadbeat dad. Men can't handle successful women. Those poor babies deserve better.' Can you download all of this?" I asked. "Already did. Every post, every video, every comment thread, time-stamped and archived." "Good. Keep monitoring. I need to know everywhere she goes, everyone she meets with." Jake nodded. "There's one more thing. Celeste Morgan, the success coach. I followed Vanessa yesterday. She went to a restaurant in the Pearl District, met with Celeste and another man. Very cozy. Lots of touching. They left together. Went to an apartment in the West Hills. Not Vanessa's apartment. No, this one belongs to the man. I ran his plates. Name's Derek Chen. He's listed as the Chief Operations Officer of Luxury Life Academy. I felt something click into place. They're having an affair. Looks that way. I've got photos if you need them. I need everything you can give me." That night, I sat Marcus down in my living room and told him what I'd found. All of it. The forged credit card applications, the identity theft, the affair, the social media lies. He listened without speaking, his face getting paler with each revelation. "The boys," he finally said. "What she's making them say on camera. That's not them. They don't talk like that." "I know, sweetheart. Can I see them? Can I at least call them?" "Not yet. But soon. I promise." Over the weekend, I built the case. Sarah provided financial forensics, showing every fraudulent transaction. Jake gave me surveillance photos and social media archives. I pulled Marcus's employment records from Lincoln High School, showing his exemplary teaching record and the suspicious timing of his resignation. I also called in another favor. Dr. Rebecca Patel, a child psychologist who specializes in parental alienation cases. I showed her the videos of the boys. "Classic signs," Dr. Patel said after watching. "The monotone recitation, the tired eyes. They're performing. Children this age don't naturally talk about manifesting or highest potential. They've been coached. Can you testify to that?" "Absolutely. And I'd recommend an emergency custody evaluation. Those children are being exploited." Monday morning, I filed for emergency custody on Marcus's behalf. I also filed a motion to freeze Vanessa's access to any accounts with Marcus's money. And I sent a letter to Vanessa's attorney requesting a settlement conference. The attorney's name was David Ross, young, probably cheap. When he called me back, he sounded confused. "Miss Hartley, my client says there's no grounds for any of this. Mr. Parker abandoned his family. He has no custody rights and no claim to any property." "That's interesting," I said pleasantly, "because I have documented evidence of identity theft, fraud, and parental alienation. I also have proof that your client has been conducting an affair while using marital assets to fund her lifestyle. Would you like to see the evidence now or in court?" Silence. "The settlement conference is scheduled for Wednesday at 10 a.m. at my office. I suggest your client attend with her business partner Celeste Morgan. We have quite a lot to discuss. I'll need to consult with my client. You have 48 hours. Oh, and David? Tell your client that if she posts one more video using those children for content, I'll have a judge issue a restraining order before she can say, manifest. Tuesday afternoon, Marcus was pacing my living room. What if she doesn't come? What if she just disappears with the boys? She won't. She needs to keep up appearances for her followers. And she thinks she's going to win. What if she does win? She won't. Wednesday morning at 9:45, Vanessa arrived at my office. She looked exactly like her Instagram. Perfectly styled hair, designer outfit, expensive jewelry. Celeste Morgan was with her, a tall woman in her 50s with the kind of smile that doesn't reach her eyes. David Ross trailed behind them, looking nervous. They sat across from me and Marcus in my conference room. Vanessa didn't even look at her husband. She was scrolling through her phone, probably checking her engagement metrics. Thank you for coming, I said. Let's get started. Vanessa, I'm going to make this very simple. You have two options. She finally looked up from her phone. I have options? I'm not the one who abandoned my family. Option 1, I continued calmly. We go to court. I present evidence of identity theft, fraud, financial exploitation, and parental alienation. I show a judge the forged credit card applications with your IP address, the $83,000 in fraudulent charges, the affair with Derek Chen, the videos of you exploiting your children for social media content, and then I watch while the judge awards Marcus full custody and requires you to pay him back every penny you stole, plus legal fees, plus damages. Vanessa's face had gone white. Celeste leaned over to whisper something to her, but I held up my hand. I'm not finished. I'll also file complaints with the FTC about Luxury Life Academy's fraudulent business practices. And I'll make sure every single one of your 43,000 followers knows exactly what kind of person you are. I have excellent media contacts. You can't threaten me, Vanessa said, but her voice shook. I'm not threatening you. I'm describing option 1. Would you like to hear option 2? She didn't respond. Celeste was staring at me like she was trying to figure out how much I actually knew. Option 2, I said. You sign over full custody of the boys to Marcus. You return his car. You provide detailed accounting of every dollar you took from him, and we work out a repayment plan. You delete every video and photo of the boys from your social media. You stop all contact with Celeste Morgan. And you don't contest the divorce. That's insane, Vanessa said. I'm their mother. I'm not giving you my children. I opened my laptop and turned it to face her. This is footage from the apartment building security camera. You and Derek Chen. Quite a lot of kissing for a business relationship. Vanessa's mouth opened and closed. This, I clicked to another file, is your bank statement showing that you purchased first-class tickets to Bali for yourself and Derek. Not Marcus. You told Marcus it was a solo retreat. Funny how Derek's Instagram shows him at the same resort on the same dates. Wait, Marcus said quietly. She took Derek to Bali? While telling you the trip was too expensive for two, I confirmed. She went with her boyfriend, using your pension money. I pulled out a thick folder. These are the credit card applications. Notice the signature? It doesn't match Marcus's signature on any legal document. That's called forgery. It's a felony. David Ross was frantically taking notes. Vanessa looked like she might be sick. And this, I pulled up another video file, is from your Instagram story 3 days ago, posted from the penthouse at the Fairmont. I have the hotel receipt, $2,300 for 4 nights, charged to one of the credit cards you fraudulently opened in Marcus's name. You said you were staying with a friend, Marcus said. His voice was hollow. I have more, I continued. Text messages between you and Celeste. Quite enlightening. Let me read a few. Marcus is so pathetic, he'll believe anything. Once we drain his pension, we can push him out completely. The boys are perfect for the mommy influencer angle. We can monetize them heavily. Vanessa's face was bright red now. Where did you get those? That's not your concern. What should concern you is that I have them. Timestamped, from your phone number. Those are private communications. Not when they document a criminal conspiracy. I leaned forward. Vanessa, you destroyed a good man's life because you wanted to play influencer. You stole from him. You forged his name. You used his children as props. You alienated them from their father. And you did it all while pretending to be a victim online. I was building something, she whispered. Celeste said. Celeste is a con artist with 3 active fraud lawsuits. Everything she told you was a lie designed to separate you from your money. And your husband's money. And your dignity. Celeste finally spoke. You have no proof of anything. I smiled at her. I have a forensic accountant's report tracking every dollar of the $18,000 Vanessa paid you. I have testimonies from 4 other women you scammed with the same promises. I have documentation that you've been operating your academy without a business license in Oregon. And I have evidence that you deliberately targeted vulnerable women and convinced them to destroy their marriages so you could profit. Would you like me to continue? Celeste stood up. I don't have to listen to this. Sit down, I said sharply. Or I'll have security escort you out and call the police. Your choice. She sat. I turned back to Vanessa. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to choose option 2. You're going to sign the custody papers my colleague has prepared. You're going to return Marcus's car by end of business today. You're going to provide a full accounting of all finances within 1 week. You're going to delete every piece of content featuring the boys, and you're going to stop pretending to be a victim. And if I don't? I pulled out one more document. Then I file all of this with the district attorney's office. Identity theft, fraud, forgery, parental alienation evidence for family court. And I make sure every news outlet in Portland knows about the influencer who destroyed her family for Instagram likes. Your choice. The room was silent. Vanessa looked at Celeste, who wouldn't meet her eyes. She looked at David Ross, who just shook his head slightly. How long do I have to decide? Vanessa finally asked. 10 minutes. I'm getting coffee. When I come back, you either sign or I make the calls. I stood up and walked out, leaving Marcus in the room with them. I trusted him to stay quiet. Sometimes silence is the most powerful weapon. I was back in 9 minutes. Vanessa was crying, mascara running down her face. Not the pretty Instagram tears. Real ones. I'll sign, she whispered. 2 hours later, we had a signed agreement, full custody to Marcus. The car returned, a repayment plan for the stolen money. All social media featuring the boys deleted within 24 hours. No contact between Vanessa and the boys except supervised visits once a month while she completed parenting classes. When they left, Marcus sat in my conference room looking stunned. Is it over? The legal part is. The healing part is just beginning. The boys. When can I see them? Tomorrow. I filed for emergency pickup. We'll have police escort to make sure it's safe. They'll come home with you. He started crying then. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. Your family. This is what family does. That night, I sat in my home office going through the paperwork one more time, making sure everything was filed correctly, making sure there were no loopholes Vanessa could exploit later. My phone rang. Unknown number. Miss Hartley? This is Detective Sarah Wu with Portland PD. We received your complaint about Celeste Morgan and the Luxury Life Academy. Yes? We've been investigating her for 6 months. Your evidence just gave us everything we needed for an arrest warrant. We're moving on it tomorrow. Good. There's something else. We found 4 other families she targeted. Same pattern. Convinced wives to drain their husbands' savings, destroy their marriages, isolate them from families. She made millions doing this. Will they testify? They're ready. Your nephew might be the key to bringing her down. Thursday afternoon, Marcus and I drove to the Fairmont. 2 police officers met us there. The hotel manager escorted us to the penthouse suite. Vanessa answered the door. She looked smaller somehow. Defeated. The boys were behind her, watching cartoons. I want to say goodbye, she said quietly. You'll see them next month. At the supervised visit. She nodded. Then she called to them. Tyler. Jason. Come here, sweethearts. The boys came over, looking confused. They saw Marcus and their faces lit up. Dad! Tyler, the older twin, ran to him. Where have you been? Mom said you were working. Jason followed, wrapping his arms around Marcus's legs. Are we going home? Marcus knelt down and hugged them both. Yeah, buddy. We're going home. To Aunt Victoria's house. You're going to love it. She has a big backyard. Can we bring our toys? We'll get your stuff. All of it. I watched Vanessa's face as her sons left with their father without looking back. There was something like understanding there, maybe even regret. But I didn't feel sorry for her. She'd made her choices. In the car, the boys chattered nonstop. They wanted to know everything about Aunt Victoria's house. Did she have pets? Could they have a dog? What about a treehouse? Marcus just held them close, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry I was gone," he said quietly. "I should have fought harder to see you." "It's okay, Dad," Tyler said. "We knew you'd come back. We told Mom you would. She said you were too negative, but we didn't believe her. Mom made us say weird stuff on camera," Jason added. "About manifesting. We didn't know what it meant." "You don't have to say those things anymore," Marcus promised. "You can just be kids." "Thank goodness," Tyler said. "That stuff was boring." The boys settled into my house like they'd always lived there. I set them up in my guest room, the one with twin beds. Marcus slept in the room next door. Within a week, they'd started at a new school, a good school, where Marcus started substitute teaching while he worked on getting his old job back. Within a month, the charges against Celeste Morgan were filed. The news coverage was extensive. Local news, then national. The story of the success coach who destroyed families for profit. Vanessa's name came up, but only as one of many victims. Vanessa herself disappeared from social media. Her account went private, then vanished entirely. I heard through David Ross that she'd moved back to California to live with her parents. Marcus started therapy. So did the boys. Dr. Patel worked with all of them, helping Tyler and Jason understand that what their mother did wasn't their fault, helping Marcus rebuild his confidence, helping them all heal. 6 months later, Lincoln High School offered Marcus his job back. Full salary, full benefits. His department chair told him they'd missed him, that the students had asked about him, that he was the kind of teacher they needed. The first day of school, Marcus was so nervous he couldn't eat breakfast. The boys made him toast anyway and insisted he take it with him. "You're going to be amazing, Dad," Tyler said, seriously. "You're the best teacher ever." "Even better than Miss Patterson?" Marcus teased. "She let you play Minecraft in class." "Way better," Jason confirmed. "Miss Patterson doesn't know anything about World War II. That evening, Marcus came home with a smile I hadn't seen in a year. His students had thrown him a welcome back party, made him cards, told him they'd tried to organize a protest when he resigned, but the principal wouldn't allow it. "They remembered me," he said, looking stunned. "All of them. They said I was their favorite teacher." "Of course they did," I said. "You're brilliant." We had dinner together that night. All 4 of us. Marcus made his famous spaghetti. The boys told me about their day at school in exhausting detail. It was ordinary and beautiful, and everything a family dinner should be. After the boys went to bed, Marcus and I sat on my back porch with coffee. "I keep thinking about what you said that first day," he said quietly. "At the airport, when I said I was too ashamed to call you. What about it? You said I was coming home. Like it was the simplest thing in the world. Like I deserved to have someone help me. You did deserve it. You do deserve it." For so long, Vanessa convinced me I was the problem. That I was negative, that I was holding her back, that I was lucky she tolerated me. I started to believe it, that maybe I deserved to lose everything. "You didn't lose everything. You lost a manipulator and a con artist. That's not a loss. That's winning." He smiled. "The boys are happy. Really happy." Tyler told his therapist that he feels like he can breathe again. That's what he said. Like he can breathe. Kids know more than we give them credit for. They knew something was wrong. They just didn't have the words for it. "I'm going to make sure they never doubt their worth," Marcus said fiercely. "I'm going to teach them to recognize manipulation, to value themselves, to never let anyone make them feel small. You're already doing that just by being their father." We sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the stars come out. "Aunt Vic?" "Yeah? Thank you. For seeing me. For not letting me disappear. For fighting when I couldn't fight anymore." I reached over and squeezed his hand. "That's what family does. We show up. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." "I was so ashamed," he whispered. "I'm a grown man. I should have been able to handle it myself." Shame is what abusers count on. It's how they keep their victims silent. You were isolated, manipulated, and gaslit for months. That's not weakness. That's trauma. I let her take everything. No, she took everything. There's a difference. You trusted your wife. You supported her dreams. You tried to be a good partner. Those aren't character flaws. Those are virtues that she exploited. How did you know? He asked. How did you know what to do? 30 years of family law, I said. I've seen every variation of abuse and manipulation, but also because you're my nephew. Because I remember the kid who brought his history students to my office to learn about civil rights law. Because I know who you really are, and I wasn't going to let anyone erase that. The next morning, I woke to the sound of laughter in my kitchen. The boys were teaching Marcus how to make pancakes in funny shapes. Tyler was attempting a dinosaur. Jason was working on what he claimed was a dragon, but looked more like a blob with wings. I stood in the doorway watching them. This was what victory looked like. Not courtroom battles or signed agreements, just a father and his sons making breakfast together on a school morning. Safe, together, whole. Aunt Victoria! Jason called when he saw me. Look, it's a dragon! It's beautiful, I said honestly. Best dragon pancake I've ever seen. That's because it's the only dragon pancake you've ever seen, Tyler pointed out logically. Then it's both the best and the worst, Jason concluded. That's weird. That's statistics, Marcus said, ruffling his hair. We'll learn about that in school eventually. After breakfast, I drove the boys to school while Marcus headed to Lincoln High. On the way back, I stopped at my office. I had a new client coming in. Another woman, referred by Sarah Chen. Her husband had taken out credit cards in her name, was hiding assets, threatening to take the kids if she left. I knew exactly what to do, because this is what I do. I protect families. I fight for people who can't fight for themselves. I make sure that victims become survivors, become victors. And I never forget that somewhere out there, someone is sleeping on a bench at an airport, convinced they're alone, convinced they have nothing, convinced no one will help. But they're wrong, because family shows up, family fights back, and family never stops until everyone is home safe.